Hey guys, welcome to the 26th C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to continue looking at pointers. So let's just go ahead right here and create a float variable. Then we're going to create a pointer that points to that float variable. So let's just go ahead and say float f equals 3.2. Then we're going to create a pointer that points to this float or holds the address of this float. So we're going to say float, since that's going to be the type of data that we're pointing to. And then to signify that we're creating a pointer, we need to do an asterisk or a star, and then name our pointer. I'm going to go ahead and name my pointer just f pointer, and then I'm going to go ahead and set it equal to the address of f in memory. And remember, to get the address of any variable in memory, we first just put an ampersand and then the name of the variable whose address we're trying to get. So I'm just going to go ahead and put f right there. Alright, so now we basically just have a float pointer called f pointer that holds the address of f in memory. So let's just go ahead and draw this out again on this grid. So again, this right here is going to be the address 0. So this unit of memory right here is at the address 0. And then we'll go ahead and say that our float called f is stored in this unit of memory right here. And then we'll say that it's stored at the address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and then let's go ahead and say that our float pointer called f pointer is stored right here. So I'll just put fp. Alright, and then basically this float pointer holds the address of our float, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this unit of memory right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is stored. So now let's say that we want to access the float at that address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, what we need to do is do something called dereference, or go to the address that is stored in our pointer. So in order to dereference a pointer, all you need to do is do asterisk and then the name of your pointer. So f pointer. So basically what this is going to do right here is just going to go to the address that is stored in this pointer variable right here. So it's just going to go to the address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since that's what's stored inside of this pointer, and then it's just going to read the float at that spot in memory, since this is a float pointer right here. Alright, so what we can do is we can say float, I'll just say float dereferenced. Alright, and then I'll just set it equal to our float pointer called f pointer dereferenced. So again, all dereference is doing is it's going to the address that is stored in our pointer and then getting the float at that address, since this is a float pointer right here. Alright, so if we were to go ahead and print out onto the screen float dereferenced, it should be equal to 3.2. So we're just going to go ahead and do modulus 0.2f, so there's only 2 digits after the decimal place, and then we're going to go ahead and print out this float called float dereferenced. Alright, so let's just go ahead and run this, and we should get 3.2. Perfect. Alright, so again, all that this did is it went to the address that is stored inside of our float pointer right here and then retrieved it. Alright, so let's just go ahead and do this with a different data type. Let's go ahead and do it with a character. So we're going to say car C equals capital A. Then we're going to go ahead and create a pointer that just points to this character variable called C. So I'm going to go ahead right here and say car asterisk, and I'm going to call it C pointer, and set it equal to the address of C, our character variable called C. And then all I'm going to do is print out the character that is at the address stored inside of our character pointer right here. So I'm going to be printing out a character, so %C. And then remember, to dereference a pointer, all we have to do is just do asterisk and then the name of that pointer. And I just called my pointer C pointer. So again, all that dereferencing is going to do is just go to the address that is stored in that pointer and then read that character this time, since this is going to be a character pointer. Alright, so if I go ahead and run this, we should just get A out onto the screen. Perfect. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial, so see you guys.